Everybody, welcome back. I'm so glad y'all are joining us. We're talking about today, because today's Mother's Day, but most of y'all at home, y'all are going to get this next Sunday, the importance of embracing our feminine side. It is really important. And if you really think about it, the feminine and the masculine help keep every individual in balance. Even the big tough guy, even the woman who wants to exercise too much masculinity. It is vitally important for us to understand what is the divine feminine and what is the divine masculine. And I think it's something we can see it just in nature. Like, that's why I put up those two pictures. Because the sun is known as, the force, the power, the masculine, the man, the sun gods. And of course, the moon has always been associated with goddesses and the feminine. And it's in nature, as we will see. And I find it unbelievably interesting and unbelievably important for our day-to-day life. And I'm pretty sure y'all will too. So y'all stick around, because I think you'll enjoy it. And we're going to give a special thanks today because it is Mom's Day. Mom, I know you'll be watching this. I love you. Thanks for watching. And all you other moms out there, thank y'all. I appreciate it. To all you horrible moms, I hope y'all get better. I hope y'all do a better job. But also, I wanted to take into consideration something on this Mother's Day for all the people that lost their moms and lost their moms early. Like, especially, I have a lot of friends that have lost their moms at a very young age. And you can tell that in their behavior as adults. And I think that's something that's missed with all of us that have had our moms our whole life, that we don't take into consideration the pain or the abandonment of a mom leaving their kids or a mom dying. It's something we can consider when interacting with people on a day-to-day basis. And I tell you what, the masculine men that don't have a good mom, wow, is that bad. And it throws off their internal balance. Like, we can see it with a lot of people that when they lose their mom, or their mom abandons them, or they're just a really horrible mom, their whole sense of balance is off. And if anybody has known, I think we've all been to somebody's house as a kid where you hear their parents hollering and screaming and it's just chaotic. And then you see how that affects your friend when you go over there. Like, you're like, man, you feel sorry for them because you don't know what to do as a kid. You just see that behavior and like, that sucks, and you want to get out of there like really fast because that energy is like, yeah, that's bad. But imagine how that affects that kid all the way growing up, not having that feminine, nurturing, caring love. It's something that we should consider in our day-to-day lives so we don't jump to judgment so fast against others. And a lot of times you'll notice that people that come from the lack of a true feminine home, the guys will just go to anybody. They'll just go to any old woman. They don't care, because they want that same pain. They want the same emptiness. They're comfortable with that. And we see that everywhere. You're comfortable. I hope this doesn't happen to you, Aaron, that you just run to whoever gives you attention, but that attention is only pain, chaos, massive disturbance, because that's what you are used to. So that's what you're comfortable with. That's what you're going to continue to seek. And I think it's scary that that's the case, and I really don't like it, and I'm sorry for it. Whenever we have a healthy masculinity and a healthy feminine side, a lot of times, guys, we see, let's say we just see a classy girl and we think, oh, wow, she's gorgeous. And then all of a sudden she turns to be, like batshit crazy. All she can do is yell and scream and holler and cuss and slap. And that's not the one, guys. I'm just letting you know, that's not the one. Don't fall for those traps of just looks alone, because you're going to make big mistakes. And we can see the manifestation of the feminine all throughout nature. Like, last week, a couple of y'all weren't here last week, and for y'all watching, we did say thanks to 2 big bulls that we're sending. Just so y'all don't know, we're going to interrupt this for just a second to say we are going to have grass-fed, organic, beautiful beef that we all offer to people that come out here and are part of our group. And it's awesome. And that's going to be ready probably in about 3 weeks. So anyway, but you can see that a cow, we have 2 baby cows out here now, and a mom is going to take care of that cow. It's just going to fall right out, because that's what it does. It's outrageously cool. And that mom is going to instantly go over, start loving and licking and cleaning that baby. And you think anybody's going to get to that mom, that little baby in that gorilla's arms? No, no chance. You think that little baby dolphin's going to swim away from its mom? No. How about that horse? Especially, I don't know if y'all have ever tried to get a little baby, you know, if you're a stranger or even somebody familiar, take a little puppy away from its mom. They ain't happy. They're typically not very happy about it. And I love these examples, because you're definitely not going to get that baby. And when I saw that picture, it reminded me of my mom, how fiercely protective she was, but at the same time was very graceful and beautiful. And I like how the lioness, go on babies, y'all go out there into the world, mama's right here, I got your back. I got your back, babies. But y'all go on, explore. But I promise you, nobody's going to mess with you. Not until you get a little bit bigger. And then guess what? When you get a little bit bigger, you still want to go hug mom. Because I'm 52, I'm going to be 53 this year, and I'm still a mama's boy. And I'm really comfortable in my masculinity, so if you don't like mama's boys, well, tough shit. It's wonderful, and I know we got several guys here. Andrew, I would say you're probably proud of yourself being a mama's boy. Yeah, I know that. So is Umberto back there, so a lot of us. And I think it's healthy, it's beautiful. And there's my beautiful mother right there. And I think I just ordered a margarita at Nikki's, and me and my mom were high-fiving about it. It's probably not the best thing to be doing, but, we did. But you know what? Our moms teach us how to show love. Dads have a difficult time with that unless they're really comfortable and balanced. And for instance, my father, love you, Dad, but still doesn't show any love. Never. And how does that affect the guy? It affects you a lot, because I know a lot of guys that their dads are real quiet. They don't want to hug very often. They almost never say, I love you. And so they think that's how you interact with people. That's how life is. But life is not that way. Life is not that way. The divine feminine teaches us empathy, compassion, like just being grateful. That's that feminine side of not only of being a woman, but being a man. To have that balance. Well, we don't always have to walk around being a tough guy. Because tough guys also get their ass beat, huh, Ricky? It happens. Chuck. It's what happens. It's not that great. So without accepting that feminine side of us, we can find ourselves in just a world of an unhealthy life. Like really, really unhealthy. I was fortunate enough, and I know quite a few of y'all were fortunate enough here, that feminine side shows a man how to be protective. Like when we see our moms, our parents, and other people, other great moms, how they nurture and love and protect that little baby and the child, it shows us, the strong physical man, how to also protect. It shows us that we don't walk away from that. We also have that feminine's back. It's a great lesson that just nature itself shows us. And it shows us how to give and receive love. Because being masculine is allowing, like we all are huggers here. I don't think any of us aren't big huggers. Like a lot of places you go, guys are, standoffish. No. My daddy didn't hug me. My mama didn't hug me. I'm not hugging you. And that is very unhealthy. It's very unhealthy. We need that human touch. We need that. And what kind of a man is it, or let me rephrase that. Everybody that has been really successful, most everybody, at least everybody I know, successful in overcoming themselves, successful financially, spiritually, in every aspect of their life, they typically have one thing in common. They have a strong, feminine, wonderful, supportive woman. Almost every single time. Thanks, Jill. But it's something y'all should observe, because we need the love of a feminine woman. I need the love of my mother. I need the love of my wife. Angel, I love seeing you and hugging you and feeling that feminine aspect. And all of you ladies, I just think it's great. Except when, you know, we all know crazy women that allow their ego to overcome their feminine nature, which I think is horrible, but that's kind of a different subject. But if we're really proactive in thinking about femininity, we can see that it keeps us brutish men from being bulls in a china shop. It keeps us from just going around being mean and rude and kicking everybody in the ass or kicking ourselves in the ass. If we just pay attention, hey, I'm letting my masculinity come out just a little bit too much. I should exercise that yin and yang, that balance of, I'm comfortable with my manhood, and yes, if I have to, we can go outside. But let's find another way if possible. We don't have to instantly always jump to that of being a man, because that's not really being a man. It's kind of being a dumbass. One thing that we know, and I mentioned this a second ago, is that when you see a beautiful girl or an ugly girl, whoever, just a girl in general, and they just start to act batshit nuts. Like, I think this is a pretty common thing. I've heard it a lot my whole life. A small group of women getting together, they're like cats. They're always going to backstab each other and fight and do these things. I've heard that forever. I don't know how true that is in general, broadly, but everywhere I've gone all over the world, I've heard people say that. And I think that is because, just as it is with men, that the ego tries to drown our feminine nature, just as it does in masculinity, just as it does in the feminine. Some women will allow their negative emotions to overcome them and ruin their grace, ruin their class, ruin their loving, nurturing nature. And so it's incumbent upon all of us to work on removing our ego the best we can to allow that love and nurturing and the feminine to bull up inside all of us so that we balance ourselves out. If we don't, we just walk around, half-cocked. And we're not in grace. We're not calm. We're not being respectful. We're not practicing the art of listening. Because how great is it? Like when I have a conversation with Jill, and if I'm doing something that irritates Jill, and she'll tell me about it after I have to pry it a little bit, but she'll tell me from a place of love, compassion, and understanding. I can see it in her eyes. That's why we don't have any fights, which I think is extraordinarily odd. I don't know anybody that's not had that. Kind of freaks me out sometimes. Maybe she has a knife she wants to stab in me. I don't know. I hope that's not true. But it's really... it's amazing, because if she came at me with a different attitude, which I've had happen in my past, you better stop doing that right now. I'm sure you've had it happen to you, Randall, in your relationships. They just start going absolutely crazy. Well, what does that do? That takes their femininity and their power away from them. They've given up their power, their feminine strength, to their emotional degradation of themselves. And men will respond to that masculine when it comes from a place of love and nurturing, because that's what we wanted whenever we were born. That's what we've needed. So we can respond, we can communicate. Unless the masculine is just a jackass and doesn't want to. I mean, that's a different matter, but that's generally what we want. We want to be recognized by the feminine. We want to be loved and respected. We want to touch and hug and love it and know that it's there to nurture us. I mean, how great is it when your mom tucks you in at night, or when your wife kisses you before you go to bed, or your girlfriend calls and says, hey, I love you. I mean, those are great things. They teach us how to have a strong heart, a strong body, a strong mind. Like being feminine, like that's the nurture. You have to nurture your mind. You have to nurture your emotions. You nurture your body. Being truly feminine makes the masculine want to get off the couch to go take a walk, to go do some push-ups, Like, I want to nurture myself because my femininity makes me want to take care of everything. As long as we can get our egos out of the way. Just get our egos out of the way. It's really difficult. Like even now, like I'm not a big fan of a lot of technology, but I certainly am a big fan of video calling my mom. I think it's great. You know, whenever you get, I mean, it's a wonderful thing of technology. Mom, she can be across the country or across the world, and I can sit there and have a conversation with her and we can look at each other. It's fantastic. Like, and I know a lot of guys that do that still. And I applaud them and I love them for it. One of the great things about a good mom is to let them go. Like, okay, you're an adult now, but I'm always going to be here for you and I'm always going to love you. But I've experienced this. How many times I know for a fact we know a lot of people that their moms are still overbearing and they're adults. They try to guide their lives, they ruin marriages, they do all these, they get in the way of, that just happens. But if your partner is healthy in her femininity, she walks through that with grace, walks through that with love and understanding, and helps gently guide the husband without being a jackass herself. That's almost impossible to see because it's pretty rare. But it doesn't have to be because we haven't been trained to nurture our femininity. And I think it's so important. We need to be acutely aware of our energies. And our energies are super valuable. Like the energy, man, when I felt that beautiful hug from you a minute ago, Laura, it was so beautiful. And I was so acutely aware of that energy. And nothing brings that out better than that beautiful feminine aspect of a good woman. And I think it's something that we should cherish, we should protect, and we should really exercise our awareness in ways that brings us all grace, brings us all class, elevates ourselves. We can be more graceful than Chuck walking on a sidewalk. You know, we can do that. We can overcome our learned behaviors. Jealousy, hate, division. I got to say and make comments to get under your skin or piss you off. Don't you look at that girl or guy. Don't you do this or that. That's not coming from a place of nurturing love and compassion and empathy. That's coming from a place where your ego and your insecurities are destroying your relationships. That doesn't have to be the case. We should embrace who we naturally are. And it allows us to surrender in meditation, which we are going to do in a few minutes. Whoever wants to participate, that's here. Because it's really valuable. And most of us walk on this tightrope. I know for many, many years I walked on it. I was like, man, if I make the wrong step, I'm gone. I just keep on walking the tightrope. I'm like, oh, this is bad. Oh, God, how am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to do this? Oh, God, this business deal's going south. Oh, God, this business deal's going great. Now I'm really a jackass. You know, it's like all these different tightropes. We don't have to live like that. No, we just don't have to. And I hope that we can all understand that part of being a man is also embracing that nurturing, naturing, feminine side of who we are. And I'm not talking about being a fairy. I'm talking about being a man. And a big chunk of that is to grab your loved one's hand, to give embracing hugs, to actually listen without thinking your thoughts are so important you have to override the other person. Actually practice being nurturing. It is really important. And I appreciate y'all listening. And if this resonates with y'all, come out and see us. We're here every single Sunday at 1:15, and we got an awesome group of people, and I love all y'all. Thanks for listening.